out here, middle of my run, middle of kind of nowhere. And yeah, it's humid today, but not so sunny. So the myth number one that is because I run a lot, so I get this thing. It's like, oh, don't you get injured? Like, don't you get injured from running too much? And I would say no, you don't get injured because you're running too much. You don't even like the whole thing. Maybe you've heard the thing that you're supposed to be running, and then you shouldn't increase your running kilometers more than 10% or whatever every week. Not necessarily true. I started running 16 kilometers. I had a thing in Stockholm when I lived there, 5 kilometers out, a 6 kilometer run, and 5 kilometers back. And I did that every day. And what happened was, first I started hurting, yes. And I was like not injured, but I was like getting niggles and beginning injuries. And what I did was I worked on my technique, or as I would, like as many people say, but something I call it is more running, let's say running form, or even better than that, your running economy. So my running economy is really good. Actually, that's something I'm happy with myself. I'm not like that self-promoting and many things, but this is something I'm good at. So I can run so many kilometers, so many kilometers, and I don't get injured because I have good running economy. So the technique, the running economy, that's what you should focus on. No, running too much doesn't create injuries. The wrong running form, the wrong running economy causes injuries. Second thing is this whole thing about like, I often get that this ties into the first one a little bit, but like you hear like, oh, how are your knees if you run that much? Oh, how are your knees? And also when people get injured, because people get injured, and that's because of the myth number one I just busted with the running form or the running economy. They get injured and then they say, oh, I need to rest, right? Well, there are two things here. First of all, no, you don't get injured, like you don't get bad knees from running. They've made studies where, like when people get arthrosis in the knees, you're less likely to get arthrosis in the knees if you are a runner. And so, no, you don't. Your knees are not gonna get. And this is kind of a two-in-one. I realize this now, this myth. And if you just rest when you get injured, and then you keep, after you're done with your resting, like you rest, you're just sitting around, you're not using your legs much more than you have to. Of course, you're not gonna hurt anymore after some time. But what's gonna happen when you keep running after that, or you start running again with the same form or the same running economy? Well, you're gonna get injured again. So it is the running economy you have to change. No, resting is not gonna be good enough for your injuries. Sorry. Okay, the third one is the no pain, no gain approach. So no, you should not be hurting, and you don't have to push yourself so you're like dead every day. That you don't have to do that become a better runner. I usually run between like 6:30 and down to 7:30 depending on per kilometer, depending on how tired I am. It can be different things. Sometimes I just run really lots of kilometers, then I get slower. But I don't hurt, and I run between 6:30 down to even 7:30, even though that's rare, per kilometer. Now, that would mean that I would run a marathon, if I ran that pace, that would be between 4:35 and 5:15. I have run a 2:57 marathon, so you can get really far by that. With that said, at some point, you're going to reach plateau. So if you're doing zone 2 training, which is if you don't want to do pulse zones, which I don't do, I never wear a watch. I have my phone with me only. So it's like talking pace. So if you can talk pretty freely while you're jogging, if you do that, you're gonna get faster if you want to be in a marathon, even though you're running slow in practice or training. Now, you will reach a plateau because at some point you won't be able to do, like, you can up the kilometers, you can up the number of days you run and how many kilometers you run, but it's gonna be a plateau, right? Then you might have to do something. For me, after 2:57, if I was gonna do a sub 2:50, yeah, I probably have to sprinkle in some intervals, some thresholds, some fartlek, some things like that. But if I did that, that would be if I run 6 days. Okay, I run 7 days a week, but if I did that, like really running for race, maybe I'd run 6 days per week, maybe once or twice, probably once I would do something faster. That's all that I would need. So no pain, no gain. You don't want to run tougher and kill yourself in practice more than that you can practice again the next day. That makes sense. So you should be able to practice the next day. Don't kill yourself in practice. That's not smart. Now, number 4 is taking 180 steps per minute. I have also given this advice, and people who have done run classes or private coaching with me, sometimes I give the advice to try to get 180 steps per minute. And yes, you can use that, but that is more with some people, depending on the runner. If you up the amount of steps they take, the higher frequency they have, the higher cadence they have while running, they get better form and they get better technique. And that happens with some runners, and that I can see that when I see them run, and we can do that. But overall, the elite runners are everything from much lower than that, than much more than that. And they also differ in studies they've seen from the Olympics. They also differ between how they themselves run within a race. So in the one marathon, they can differ like 40 steps, 30 steps per minute when they do the lowest cadence and the highest cadence. So you don't have to worry about your 180 cadence. You can try and have fun with it, play around with higher and lower cadence, but don't worry about the 180. The last one, the recovery myth. You've seen it. People doing sauna, people doing ice baths. Ice baths is a big thing, especially in Sweden. People are jumping in ice bath, and that's nice if you want to do an ice bath. And an ice bath is good if you wanna, if you are really dead, like if you're running. I've had tennis players, for instance, let's say that they're doing something really tough. They're playing a 3.5 hour match. It's so many sprints, and their legs are killed. And the next day, they need to be able to play again. They can take an ice bath, and that will make them recover better. But it's not going to be good for, like, if you want to, for instance, if you're like a person who tries to build muscle, you're not going to build as much muscle if you do ice baths. So ice bath, no. And they have the infrared light is big now on social media. I've seen it's all BS. You don't have to do that. Be smart with your recovery. Okay, let me give you 2 tips about recovery. My 2 favorite recovery steps. So the 2 tips for recovery, the 2 main ones is, the first one, eat something that you like, something good, something nutritious. I like pasta. This is a red pesto pasta with vegetables. And this is such an important thing for recovery, to eat well. You don't have to get all these gels or sports drinks or whatever supplements. Eat something good. Last one is sleep. So get really good calories in you, eat good food, a lot of it. Don't eat too little if you have a running goal, and if you're training, and eat protein also, but eat good food a lot and get your sleep in. Good sleep is essential for recovery. If you want to crush your goals, if you want to get off the couch and start running, if you want to run your first 5K, 10K, half marathon, ultra marathon, you might have a time that you wanna run a race, go to 105daystoheaven.com. You can also go there if you want to lose weight, if you want to get stronger, if you want to build muscle, if you want to look the best you've ever done and feel the best you've ever done. Go to 105daystoheaven.com or to my website, thomasalm.com, and have on both of those, either of those, you can have a free consultation with me on WhatsApp. So until next one, like and subscribe, and good night.